Pradeep Singh ji, first coming to you. What the Supreme Court said today, it raises serious questions on whether there was a Snoopgate at all that happened or not. Because conclusively, in all the mobile phones that were submitted and eventually examined, the spyware was not conclusively found. Would you agree with that assessment?
Well, today is a very sad day for India. I think you did not notice the operational part of Supreme Court's observation, which you read out a little while before, that the government of India did not cooperate with the inquiry. Anybody who's watching India today would have noticed that for the first time, there's a breakdown. There's a breakdown in the system of where the Supreme Court is complaining that its committee was not cooperated by government of India. Can we imagine a situation in country today that any individual, any institution, or for that matter, any state government says that we will not cooperate with Supreme Court and everything will be fine? Can we imagine such a situation? Today, the government of India, Modi government, refused to cooperate with the committee of Supreme Court. And that is why Supreme Court said we could not conclusively conclude. The committee said it could not conclude whether the Pegasus malware was Pegasus or not, because government did not allow access to the servers of Pegasus. How is a committee supposed to confirm whether it was Pegasus or not? It's not a normal spyware. It's a military grade spyware. Military grade. It is categorized in Israel as a cyber weapon. Do we expect, without cooperation of government, without giving access to the servers of Pegasus, without government helping the committee to talk to the Pegasus company, is it possible to determine that Pegasus was there or not? It's a very, very sad day. Will Shahzad Poonawala tell me, if any state government had refused to cooperate with the Supreme Court of India, what would have been the stand of BJP today?
All right. Shahzad, coming to you. The key argument and the premise of the Congress party is that because the union government did not cooperate, you did not cooperate with the union government. The union government did not cooperate with the Supreme Court appointed panel, and that is perhaps the reason that there is no culpability that has been established. Without your cooperation, no amount of evidence could have come forward, and you evaded due process.
So before I unpack that selective reading and defective thinking of the Congress, let me contextualize this discussion. We are talking to a party and its representative who, by the way, authorized 9,000 phones and 500 emails to be intercepted every month while they were in power in the UPA, imposed the emergency, silenced freedom of speech, freedom of privacy, and all kinds of right to life under Indira Gandhi. That is the party that we are talking to. Now, in Parliament, both Ashwini Vaishnavji and the Defence Ministry categorically clarified every answer and question that was raised about Pegasus, including the fact that the Government of India has nothing to do with NSO, the parent company. It's all there, I can show you, but it's a waste of time to open up these documents right now. But twice it was clarified in Parliament. Yet, Rahul Gandhi, and I have a statement and I can make you hear it, went ahead and said in a speech and held Parliament hostage and cost us 225 crores for that particular session, that every youth's phone had been infected with Pegasus by Modi. And then he went on to label the entire democracy of India as dead. This is what they did. Now, what has come out from the Supreme Court? First of all, Anusha, you've spent your entire journalism career covering courts. Any observation cannot be inherently antithetical or contradictory to the final judgment. That you will agree? If this so-called observation says that we have not assisted the technical committee, then the final finding of the court can't be that there is no Pegasus in those 29 phones. Then the final finding would have been that there is perhaps Pegasus, but these people have not allowed us to check. So the final finding of the Supreme Court that is uncontroverted is that 29 phones were checked, there is no Pegasus, 5 phones have malware, and how you can get malware, I don't want to get into that. Maybe these petitioners can only answer how their phone have these malware. But let me complete in 10 seconds. 10 seconds. I think it's a discussion, everyone can get this. Now let us see the context of this particular so-called observation. The context is that, first of all, there is assisting a technical committee which was appointed by the Supreme Court, which was overseen by Justice Ravindran. All of these people are not some Johnnies on the street. They know what is happening. If there was such non-compliance or non-assistance or non-cooperation, then they would have said it that time. They would have told to the Supreme Court, look, the Government of India is behaving this way. No. There is compliance. so that the 29 phones can be checked.
Okay.
That compliance took place. Now, assistance in the issues of national
Shahzad.
security.
Well,
Let me
I'll
answer.
come to you.
There's
I'll
a
come to you.
technical.
Let me
One
answer,
second.
Shahzad.
To the extent that the committee could be assisted, was
Shahzad,
assisted.
let's-
But there was compliance that you can't deny, and there is a
Shahzad.
final finding, and therefore the final finding
Shahzad.
can't be overruled
You
by
are
a
right.
so-called observation.
You're right that any observation, a single line observation, cannot be the ratio decidendi of an order. That's your
And
argument.
it can't go beyond the judgment.
One second. And it's not the ratio of a judgment, it's not the soul of the judgment. Point taken. But the argument which is being made here is that you stonewalled information. At no point in the Supreme Court, the government made a categoric statement that whether did it buy Pegasus or did not buy Pegasus. There were various arguments that were made by the Solicitor General. National security argument was made in the court that this pertains to national security. We cannot, divulge everything here. But was a categoric statement made in the court that did the government buy Pegasus or it did not?
Okay, now let me answer both these. First
Yeah.
of all, for you, and especially somebody like you who's covered courts, to say that the implication of this so-called observation is that the government stonewalled the investigation of the technical committee is to leap 10,000 steps ahead, which you know is not the right thing to do, because there is no stonewalling. Had there been stonewalling, I am sure that the Right Honourable Justice Ravindran would have put his foot down, the technical committee would have put its foot down and gone and reported to the Supreme Court. So there was
Let me
no
answer to
stonewalling.
this.
I am again explaining the difference between assistance and compliance. We have complied. Maybe the assistance that they imagined must have not come. That is their observation, but that has not contradicted the finding. But let me come to the second point.
It's only
Please,
fair
let
that
me
I
come to the
ask
second
you,
point.
did the government have something to hide? That's what the Congress
Now
party
the
is saying.
second point
Yeah.
is
No, let me
that one
please
second.
गुरदीप जी,
अरे
I'll come to you.
गुरदीप
I'll
जी
come to
थोड़ा
you.
रुक
गुरदीप
जाइए,
जी,
आप
आऊंगी
तो
आपके
इमरजेंसी
पास.
वाले हैं
आपको पूरा समय दूंगी.
इमरजेंसी एंड
एक
1984
वकील भी हमारे साथ पैनल पे, उनको भी पूरा समय दूंगी. शहजाद 30
and
seconds to
those
you and
who
then I'll go.
emergency and 1984 should not get so eager about
हाँ,
this.
so
Now let me come to
let me
the point that you are
answer to
saying.
your things.
As far as whether we purchased Pegasus or we didn't, that answer has been specifically answered in Parliament. But it's like a question like you asking me, Shahzad, have you stopped beating your wife? I can't say yes, I can't say no. I mean, don't take this in
I
that
don't
way.
want to go
But
there.
how can I
I
say
don't want
that
to
I
go
have
there.
stopped
That's
beating
not
my
the-
wife when I don't have a wife
that's not the
and I
right
don't beat
example.
my wife?
That's not the right example.
One second.
No.
The analogy is absolutely correct. It's been used by Abhishek Singhvi before. The analogy is that you are making me answer a hypothetical question
Okay.
to which there exists no answer.
That
So I am
example
not
is
going to
not
answer
taken.
that
Let me-
question.
All right,
let me-